So the Lincoln cent is the longest tenured coin in United States history. So we're going to go back to the Wheaties, right back to 1909, and I think this is probably the best package we've ever put together.
When you add up everything that's in it, and it's a lot, right? And then that beautiful Cornerstone album, it's something special. Let's take a peek. There's that Cornerstone album. Again, when you open it up, the history, the stories of the Lincoln cent are all prevalent. They did a phenomenal job with this. Not knocking the Whitman or the Danskos, but this one, when it comes to history and the same concept of album, night and day. They sell that album for $29.95 and they can't keep it in stock. Here is our collection, however. It's 252 coins, 252 coins in all. How is that a breakdown? Well, right there you're seeing it. There's a roll from the teens, a roll from the 20s, a roll from the 30s, a roll from the 40s, and a roll from the 50s. They are unsearched. Well, the Wheatie was only made for 5 decades. You're getting the roll from each decade. And then those two, first year of issue, right? See the VDB on the bottom right-hand side? That's the first Lincoln ever made. And oops, we didn't like it. So we remade it into the regular 09. We're including that in this package.
So you'll get the 1909 VDB, the first set they made, the regular 09, plus 5 rolls. And what you're going to do is you're going to take those 5 rolls and you're going to sort them out. And you're going to go through them and see what you got. You got 5 rolls, one roll from each decade. And you're going to go through this album. And you're going to go ahead and have a great time finding the holes that they go in and reading about the historical speeches of Abraham Lincoln, the history of the cent, in this beautiful Cornerstone album.
Again, it's a great opportunity. Just those 1909s, the bottom left-hand corner, the VDB, they sell for $26 and change. The corrected, $13 and change. That means they're selling the 2 bonus coins for 40 bucks. Now add in the album, it's like you're getting 250 coins for free. Now, here is a fun part about collecting. We broke this down into a roll for each decade. That means there's going to be a mixture in there of P's, D's, and S's, right? The various coins. 3 mints made it for circulation, and they're just a smattering. All we did when we got the bags in is sort them by decade. Teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. We didn't sort them by mint marks, S's or D's or P's, etc. We sorted them by years. When we got a roll, we sealed it off and pushed it aside, right? To finally be able to put this particular offer together. So here is silly math backwards. Our competition sells circulated coins, various mints, from the 1950s for 60 cents each. Times 50 coins in a roll, that's 30 bucks. If you jump to the teens, there wasn't one coin they had from 1909 through the 19-teens, right? That decade plus the first years, which we're cutting off here. So 10 to 19. That they didn't have at $2 or more. Times 50, that's 100. $1.50 and change on the 20s, $1.50 and change on the 30s, over $1 on the 40s. The math just compounds itself to silliness. What a great way to put together a collection. And by the way, side story if I can, indulge for a minute. I got hooked on collecting because I was a paper boy. And my grandfather used to sit down with us on Sundays. My mother would come make meals for him after my grandmother passed away, etc. And we would talk coins. He would give us a coin and tell us the story of the year, what was going on, what happened. It was kind of like a Wikipedia without the computers being invented yet, because my grandpa had it all in his head, right? And then it was the albums, the old Whitman push albums. And we would go through and get the albums, my brother and I, and then bring home the change from collecting for my paper route, because we collected the money back then. And you look at them and say, okay, here's all my cents, here's all my nickels, here's all my dimes. You go through, you kind of fill in the holes. I found out from my mother in the last couple of years, so we're talking about like 50 years silent on this one, that my grandfather would go to some of the people he knew on my paper route and give them coins to put into the change to give to me, so I would continue to push these albums, so that way I wouldn't go home and not find something in my Lincoln cent album. Or I wouldn't, he wanted me to be a collector, and God love him if he was with us today.
Good thing he did.
Good thing he did, right?
Well,
but again, what a great way to start collecting with someone, to pass on our passion, my passion, your passion.
Yeah, and that's what I love about this opportunity. We go to shows sometimes weekly. right? And every single show we go to, we see either grandma and grandpa walking around with one of their grandchildren, okay? Whether it's a young man or a young lady, and they're showing them the coins at the tables, they're talking, the kids have a list, and they're looking through the books and stuff like that. So this is a great way to connect. It's a great gift to give. It's $89.95, 5 rolls of coins plus the 09 regular, the VDB, which has a story in its own. And you could sit together and do that. What a great opportunity to connect with your grandchildren.
Well, it explains
or
everything.
Children.
It explains the years of issue. It explains the mint marks. Where do you look? Where's the mint mark? Where does it go in the album accordingly? And do I have it or do I not have it? What do I need? I need another 1950s roll. My birthday's coming up, Grandpa or Grandma. My birthday's coming up. I need another roll of nickels or whatever. I mean, trust me, we hear that. But the other thing that we see more often now is actually parents with their kids, which is usually a generation earlier than we anticipate the collecting habit to start forming, where we look back and say, okay, we have some time and effort. I want to go after one of my passions, one of my things about history. So collecting is a lot of fun. And this is just one of those great ways to break ground, so to speak, even if it's yourself. If you're a silver dollar collector, I guarantee you, you buy this collection and you go through them all, and if you're truly a collector, and you go through all the rolls, go through the album, put them together, when you're all said and done, a couple of hours later, if you didn't entertain yourself and say, this was fun, we have a different idea. We definitely have a different idea of fun. And now that could easily be, but the answer is this is coin fun. But we've nailed it with the VDB from first year and the corrected from the first year. So the first year's done, right? Then the teens are 1910 to 1909. I'm sorry, 1919. I forgot the digit in my mind. My mind is like flag, whatever. And then 20, 29, 30, 39, 40, 49, 50, 58. P's, D's, S's all mixed in. Album has them all telling the story. It's just one of those collector sets that, guess what? We can find the coins. It takes a while to put together VDB and regular corrected because everybody wants that first year stuff. Ergo, why my competition sells those for $40 for that 2-coin set by itself. But the other side is this, that album can't keep it in stock. So we have to, whenever they come in, we got to carve out an allocation for quote-unquote TV, and then we got to assemble everything else behind it and what we want to bring out. This is, no questions asked, our #1 seller of this album. It is the ultimate starter package.
And it can be yours. So we got to put a 30-second clock up, please. We are, again, limited on albums, but we have a lot of calls on the line, so don't forget, you can always shop online, avccoins.com. This collection is the Wheat Cent Starter with 1909 pair. You get the Cornerstone album. You get 252 coins, so you get 5 rolls, one from each decade, from the teens up to the 50s, and then the 1909 regular cent and the 1909 VDB. What a way to put your collection together. Have some fun with it. I know you will. It's a great opportunity.
And again, $89.95 versus our competitors. When you add up all the components, the closest was just shy of $300. When you add in all the teens, 20s, and 30s cents on top of the VDB and the regular plus the album, it's just a great deal. Thank you for your patience, everybody. This one, it's something special.